So Bill Belichick's going to try this out. Contract has been signed. He's going to be North Carolina's football coach. He's got a staff and everything. I'm so against this move. And the more I think about it, the less sense that it actually makes. And not just because he hired his son to be the defensive coordinator. I think his son, as a play caller, is an incredibly capable defensive coordinator. But I am fading North Carolina in 2025 as much as I will fade any team in college football this year. Their win total, according to our friends at FanDuel, is 7.5. Give me the under now, tomorrow, the day, month, week, other month after that, like all of the above. Give me the under on North Carolina. This has disaster written all over it. Now, in the short term, I'm going to fade him harder than I will in the long run because, like some people try to be, but I actually accomplish it, of course. I'm an open-minded guy. And if you give me information and change my opinion, I will turn things around. The last coach that I was this down on, though, in a one-year situation for a hire was Deshaun Foster at UCLA. Their win total came out as 5.5. I said under, please, and they got closer to that than I thought they would, but the under hit. So you best go out and act on that with our friends at FanDuel while you still can, because the power of this show just cannot be overstated, folks. There have been several times, Colorado, UCLA, other examples over the years, Cal on a couple of occasions, where I have had a particular claim and then all of a sudden the win total moves and Vegas senses he might have a point. He might have a point. So clearly the sports books listen to and watch the show very heavily. But here, I digress. So the reasons that I'm fading this is bringing Bill Belichick in to be your head coach at North Carolina in 2025 would be like launching your own Food Network competitor enterprise and bringing in as the head chef Emeril Lagasse. When we were all growing up, I say we, people my age, mid to late 20s, Emeril Lagasse, big name, big TV star. And you know what? People still know who he is. Incredibly well known, a great chef. I would love for him to prepare me a meal of his choosing. It would be delicious. But if you're looking to start a new network and you need a face that propels you into the year 2025 and beyond, Emeril Lagasse isn't the guy, and Bill Belichick isn't the coach. Once upon a time, it was great. And if Bill Belichick wanted to sit here and explain football to me, I would listen to him for hours. It would be great because he has forgotten more about football than I will ever know. But his expertise has also reigned in the NFL. And bringing that down to college, it doesn't always translate. Sometimes it does. Jed Fish, for example, was on the Patriots staff once upon a time. Then he was at the Rams. Then he went to be the head coach of the University of Arizona. He's doing very well for himself. He got a big raise because he went to Washington to be the head coach. I think he will ultimately wind up having success there, as he did with the Wildcats. He came from the NFL, brought that sort of approach. Okay, Jed Fish doesn't feel like the game passed him by. Bill Belichick had the game pass him by because everyone learned to play offense, and Bill Belichick never adapted to that. He has as his offensive coordinator a holdover from last year's staff, Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, that's North Carolina's offensive coordinator. You expect me to get behind that? To think that it's going to work? I don't care who you have in that quarterback room. Freddie Kitchens once called a draw play on 4th and 9 in the NFL. It'd be one thing to do that in college, but in the NFL, look, I don't want to define a coach by one play. That's just something I use to exaggerate my point. So perhaps that was a little cheap of me. Okay. I still don't look at Freddie Kitchens' track record and think this guy's going to be able to recruit at a really high level. And this guy knows what it takes to run a college offense to the point where you can push for an ACC championship, which, by the way, is absolutely where North Carolina football's expectations should be. So I am all against this hire. I have been for a very long time. Kitchens is just one of the reasons. And in the short term, I look at their schedule, and you know what? It's really not that hard. And guess what? I don't care. This is his first time where he is dealing with donors, where he is dealing with parents, where he is dealing with a college atmosphere, the whole ordeal. These two leagues are so different, and that's why it's so great every fall. Saturday feels completely different than Sunday. We don't even play fantasy football in college. It's the reason that some people tune into the NFL at all. That's not why you tune into college football. There are just so many nuanced differences, and he's going to be learning on the job. So he's now a guy in his 70s who hasn't been a great coach in the league where he was once the best to ever do it for many years, since before the pandemic. That's how long it's been, which was 5 years ago, by the way. Before that is the last time you said, boy, Bill's still got it. Now, then everything started to decline, but I'm supposed to believe he can go command a locker room the way that other college coaches do, that he can get guys to understand his scheme and implement it. By the way, just think about that. Bill Belichick's defense, he was able to use that for a long time successfully in the NFL. Does that immediately translate to college? What if it's too complex for the kids? Does he know how to simplify things and make it easier to make calls and reads for college football players? I don't know. Maybe he does, but he's never had to do that before, and now he does. And he's going to try to recruit. But I've got my negativity out of the way. I will bring an optimistic outlook here so that it's not all doom and gloom for North Carolina fans and you think I'm hating on you just to hate on you. I see the path for how this can work, but the results on the recruiting trail have to be there. They have to be there. Now, North Carolina has brought in 18 transfers in the class of 2025. That's par for the course nowadays in college football. You bring a bunch of guys with you. 4 of them came over from Washington with Steve Belichick, where he was the defensive coordinator last year. The best of those guys might be Kamori House. That's a name to just keep in the back of your mind. However good North Carolina is this year, don't be surprised if House at linebacker is an all-conference caliber player. But when you've got Freddie Kitchens as your OC, we know Belichick has nothing to do with the offense. He'll have plenty to do with his son on the defensive side of the ball. All right, they're good schematically over there. Steve was doing a good job, I think, with an undermanned Washington roster this past season. All right, that could be okay. Do you have the talent to match up with everyone in the ACC? Probably not. But when I look at their schedule, because of how uneasy I feel about the coaching staff and just the whole newness of the situation for the North Carolina players and for Bill Belichick, I only look at a handful of games and feel, yeah, they'll probably win that one. Everything else, toss up, or I feel like it's a loss. Here are the games that I feel for North Carolina are toss-up games, or you're going to lose, or you're going to be a sizable underdog. TCU in week 1. You don't have a quarterback as good as Josh Hoover. You better implement that defense quickly or you've got problems. They go at UCF. I think Scott Frost has a better chance to succeed in his first year in Orlando than Bill Belichick does in his first year in Chapel Hill. Clemson, reigning ACC champs, you're not at that level, pal. Never really have been as a program. You're certainly not going to be here. At Cal, cross-country road trip. Ask Miami how easy that was last year. Virginia was a 5-7 team last year. You should win that game. You should. I don't know that you will. Virginia wasn't completely terrible last year, and I could see North Carolina flaming out. They go at Syracuse. You want to go against Fran Brown in year 2? Miami's playoff hopes ended in the JMA Wireless Dome last year. You want to try that one? I don't. Not if I'm North Carolina. They go at Wake Forest. Heck, there's another battle of first-year head coaches. We're on the road. I have no idea if they're going to be able to pull anything out there because I don't have a great sense of what's their offensive identity. What was Freddie Kitchens' offensive identity when he was a coach and play caller in the NFL? What was it? What did he do really well? What do you expect to translate over to North Carolina right away? I don't expect that much. Duke, they have him at home, big rivalry game. Newsflash, they just paid $8 million over 2 years to their transfer quarterback Darian Mensah from Tulane, and Manny Diaz just quietly had one of the best seasons in college football last year as a first-year head coach. Crazy to say, I'd rather have Manny Diaz as my head coach than Bill Belichick. And then they go at NC State in a rivalry game. So, yeah, good luck. Good luck, North Carolina. But, hey, maybe we'll have fun along the way.